Hello, my name is Abram Darnser, and I'm a Senior Application Consultant for CM First. And today I'm going to go over some of the new features that we've implemented into WebClient. Some of these are standalone controls, others are custom controls that rely on several different things. So with that said, some of these are going to be added to the product, others are just available as reference, and you could certainly request them from us if you need them. And we will also be trying to put these into some kind of repository somewhere and have some kind of a kitchen sink app out there at some point in the future, showing you how to implement all of these as well. So the first thing I'm going to show you is our Crystal Reports integration that we have with WebClient. I'm sure a lot of you use Crystal Reports as your reporting software. So I'm just going to show you a quick example. So the screen that is loading here, this is actually going out and reading the actual Crystal Reports file itself, and then it will dynamically show the fields that are necessary for the parameters for that report. So if you have a report out there with 3 different parameters, some are numeric, some are dates, this panel will show and hide all the fields and auto-populate the descriptions, and certain ones, if there's a value that it's supposed to auto-populate, will auto-populate them as well. That being said, this screen is actually purely optional. I'm sure a lot of you in your client-server applications have your own Crystal Reports UIs that you like to use to launch all your reports, and that's certainly possible for you to still use with WebClient. Basically, everything running in the background here to actually launch the Crystal Report is very easy to adapt to your own system as well. But for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to use our default out-of-the-box screen. And with our Crystal Reports viewer, you have 2 options. You could simply view the report as a PDF, as such, or you can launch the report in the Crystal Reports web viewer itself, and you have all the general Crystal Report options that you would normally have. So I'm actually going to go ahead and switch workspaces now to show you some of the other custom controls that we created. Some of these just for our demonstration application that we created for the Plex 2E conference. Others are a little older, and we've kind of just expanded upon them as well. So let me go to, all right, so first thing, we're actually going to start including cookie controls into the general WebClient templates in the near future. We've had these controls for a little bit, but we just are trying to incorporate them into the product fully now. Basically, in the background on the Plex function, there are 2 fields that are using a web cookie template. The template is designed to not show on the screen because it's not necessary at all. And all it's going to do is, in Plex, if you set a value to it, it's going to save a cookie with that value. And when the screen loads, it'll check for a cookie with that value and then auto-populate those fields. And then you could do whatever you want with it. In this case, what we're doing is we're just going to get that, and then we're auto-populating the user and password with what is saved to the cookies. So in the background, it's just very simple Plex code. You just get the value of your cookie field, and you set it to whatever value you want to display on the screen and do a put. So for a Plex user, it's something very simple and very much something that you're already used to. So let's go ahead and log in. So one thing that we're trying to do a lot more with WebClient grids is giving you custom presentations. So as you can see, this is not your usual Plex grid or WebClient grid. It uses a custom TPL, which is basically a repeatable HTML5 JavaScript template that is then subbed in with the data. So in here, I just have HTML to show an image, and I set the value of the field equal to the location of the image, and it displays the actual picture instead of just the string of the image location. So once again, you have a lot of control to display your grid data in any way that you want. And if you use WebClient Mobile at all, this is something that should be kind of familiar to you because grid TPLs and things like that are something that's very important for mobile design as well. But we've created some templates to allow you to do this in the web as well. Another custom template that you may have seen before, but we've recently done some additions to it, is the actual CSV Export. If I click this button, it's going to create a CSV file with all of my grid data automatically in it, and you can see that here. But what we've actually done is given you a lot more customization control to run in the background for this. You now have full control over what you want to name the file, what file extension you want to use, whether you want to include the column headings or not, what kind of delimiter you want to put between each of the fields. So CSVs by default just use a comma to delimit between fields. But let's say you're using JD Edwards or some other system that you need to export grid data to, and it uses a completely different delimiter. You now have control to do that. The same thing with the line end. You could set whatever line feed combinations you want for the end of each row. So you have full customization options on how you want the file to be created. So wrong one. All right. Another nice control is you may have seen us doing map controls before, but we're also trying to expand upon them. The idea behind this control that we created is you have some deliveries. So you have a delivery route, and you have 3 houses you need to go to. We need to map out all 3 of those coordinates and then auto zoom and center the map on there. Well, we create a template to do that. Here, I'll go ahead and add a new delivery. So now we have 4 deliveries on our delivery route, and I'll hit the button, and you can see we've mapped out all 4 of our locations onto the map. We're also looking to expand this to maybe do dynamic direction calculations and things like that. And if that's something you're interested in, we'd be certainly happy to work on that with you. So those are all the ones that I can show you for regular web client. We have a lot of other controls as well that we've used with a lot of other different client applications. So if you have questions or anything or something you want to try to implement, please bring those questions to us. We've probably done something similar or done that exact thing before, and we have a lot of expertise in putting these things together. So now we're looking at some of the more mobile templates. As you can see, this is using kind of the same similar cookie controls that we're using as in the regular web client. Works exactly in the same way in the actual Plex functionality. You're just inheriting from a slightly different template. We also have social login integration, so we can log in actually using Facebook. Unfortunately, I can't show you that here. I will show it in a different presentation for mobile design challenges, but just know we have the ability to do that as well. So we're going to go ahead and log in. And there's several little things that you might not notice that we're doing that's kind of cool and customized in here. The first is this shopping cart icon. As you can see, we have a full shopping cart. So I'm going to actually go ahead and remove the items from our shopping cart. We're going to go back, and we actually have an empty shopping cart icon, and it's also protected. What we're doing here is actually, this is all the same button, and we have a custom control template where we can, whenever we set the state, we can run any custom JavaScript we want. So in this case, when the button is disabled, I want to change the JavaScript to have a different CSS tag, and the HTML to have a different CSS tag to show this empty shopping cart, and also have the button disabled. But anytime we add something and I enable the button, I need to run some JavaScript to change the icon back to the full icon, and that's what we're doing. So within the actual control, you actually can run your own custom JavaScript as well. As you can see, I just add an item to my cart, and you can see that it's now full. Another cool custom template is this one right here. This is for our filter region. With the mobile environment, you have very limited screen real estate, so it's very important that you maximize your space as much as possible. And so there's no real reason to have all these filter fields being shown all the time. It's basically, the idea behind this application is I want my user shopping for these drink umbrellas, so I want as much of my product available and visible to the user at once, so I don't want filters fields taking up the screen when they don't need to be. But they still need to be able to filter and search, so we now have collapsible regions, and I also have controls that are not in this application that have scrollable tile regions as well within this. So you can throw there's a lot of new ways that we have to deal with lots of information on your tiny mobile device in a very efficient and very user-friendly manner, to where it's not just going to overwhelm the user with a lot of fields. So there's one other custom control that I want to go through. And I can't show you the in-depth of this. The mobile design challenges will also do this, but we also have new controls that will also allow you to access the device camera or the stored photos already on the device and upload them to a server. All this is built into one control, so it's very nice and convenient and very easy to implement. So this is just a small taste and a small example of some of the new things you're able to do with WebClient and WebClient Mobile. Like I said, we have dozens, if not hundreds, of custom templates out there doing very specific things to meet very specific challenges that customers and clients have in the web and mobile environment. If you have any questions or anything on how to implement something, we are more than happy to answer those questions and discuss with you on the best ways to approach those. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me directly, Abram, A-B-R-A-M, .Darnitzer, D-A-R-N-U-T-Z-E-R, @cmfirstgroup.com, or just go to our support site and contact us through there. We'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much.